Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you guys liked that last video. Hopefully the quality was a little, I know the lighting still sucks and I'm working on the lighting, but let's do what we got, right? First was the camera, then everything else will come along. Alright, so today I'm kind of excited about this video a little bit because I'm going to talk about what your first tech job should be. Now, I know that for a lot of you guys, it's like you want to jump straight into what you want to do or that dream job that you have. But it doesn't always start off like that. You know, very rarely does a person go into really what they want to do in the field. So today I just want to talk about like where can you get started to start kind of moving yourself up that way if you want to get a 9-to-5 job, or what can you do to just start doing what you want to do and go for it, right? So let me adjust here a little bit. So pretty much to get into the tech field, a lot of times you have to start off but just getting the lowest level job you can that involves tech. For instance, like me, I'm doing technical support right now for a tax company, right? Now, even though it's not my dream job, it is part of tech. Why? Because we have to, not only are we doing support for the software that they're selling, but we also do support for, like, let's say their network isn't sharing the software correctly or whatever. We have to look into all those problems that involves networking, network sharing, making sure that the program is installed properly, making sure that they have the correct settings for everything. So even though it's not very heavy level tech, it does involve some sort of tech, which is really good. Now, when it comes to support tech, I have heard people making $35 an hour at a high tier support tech, right? Because you have different levels of support techs. You have level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, depending on what company. They have certain levels of support techs. And a support tech can make fairly good money, 70 $25, 30 $35 an hour, which accumulates to what, close to maybe 60 70K a year. Now, that's not software developer money, but it's still good money for a support tech, you know what I mean? So for me personally, if you want to get into tech, right, if you want to get into tech, the best job to get is support tech job. That way you could start getting that experience in, and slowly, like, once you have that on your resume, I was a level 1 support tech for this company involving networking issues, printing issues, server issues, whatever the case may be. People are going to see that on your resume and like, okay, he already has a level 1 out of the way. Let's train him for level 2, pay him a little bit more so we could see, keep him around a little bit longer. And that's how it works in reality. Until you get to that, level where you're like, okay, you know what? I think it's time for me to do something else that pays a little bit more because I'm capped out here and that's it. So now, how can you get into support tech? Well, to be honest with you, it doesn't take very much to get into support tech. You could probably get your A+ certification and apply for a support tech job, or just make sure that your resume has certain qualifications that, some sort of networking, some sort of wireless technologies, some sort of Bluetooth technologies in there, that sort of stuff, and you can get in there. But make sure that you actually know that stuff. Don't just pretend to know it, because they will test you on it once you apply for that job and you get an interview. They will ask you, do you know how to set up a file sharing? Do you know If the network isn't working, why isn't it working? And so, you have to kind of troubleshoot that sort of stuff. Make sure you have troubleshooting skills also. Now, when it comes to tech, like to become an IT professional or cybersecurity, this is probably the best place to start. Now, as a software developer, because we want to talk about that too, to become a software developer at the same time, you still have to start at the lowest level you can. Now, for software developer, it is a little bit more different just because you can't go get an A+ certification and then get an entry level software developer job. Absolutely not. But for software developer, what you want to do is pretty much is, let's say you live in a small town, or your buddy, he has your friend has, he or she bakes stuff, or like for my niece, I made her a very simple website because she makes chocolate covered strawberries for Valentine's Day, birthdays, and all that stuff. So I went to HTML5 up, got a very basic web page, and modified it to where it kind of showed her stuff. Now, to get into software development, that's what you want to do. You want to start building up your resume, by showing that, like, okay, you know what, like, I got this, I built this website for this person, or what, I built my own database to store my movies or whatever. That's what you want to do. That's where you want to get to that point where you can show them a good portfolio, and they can be like, okay, we can't give you a junior developer job, but you can start off like this, helping the developers, learning and stuff like that. Now, of course, if you don't want to get a job, a 9 to 5 job as a software developer, then again, you have to go looking around, see what you can do, try to get some projects on your own, helping people create their websites, helping people with their databases, going on Fiverr or people per hour to do all this stuff, because it is fairly possible to get work as a software developer on your own as a freelancer, or try to get an entry level job in the field, even if it is a paid internship or not paid internship. The point is to get your foot in that door so that you can start building your skills, and 2 to 3, 4, 5 years from now, you could be at that level where you can be living comfortably, not worrying about much, and doing that. So why am I talking about these two fields? Because as you guys know, this channel has to do with these two fields, including cybersecurity, right? But cybersecurity at the same time falls in the IT field, and also falls in between the software developer field. Why? Because as a cybersecurity professional, you have to have a mindset on how both of these things work, because both of these things get affected in a security attack. Databases, servers, again, they both get affected by this, by anything that has to do with the cyber attack. So cybersecurity, I believe that the best place to get started in cybersecurity will be to get some certifications, and to get, more than likely, get your Linux Plus, your Security Plus, and well, I don't think the A Plus is really necessary unless you want to start off at that bottom tier, technical support. But definitely Security Plus, Linux Plus, and maybe your CCNA. There is other certificates that I will talk about in a different video, because I am going to make completely different videos on each one of these things. But this video, I just want to concentrate on like how to get into these fields fairly easily without having, to go to a 4-year college, or, all this stuff. So when it comes to cybersecurity, again, you just want to start on that lower level tier of maybe helping you know, the security professionals in whatever company you're in. Let's say you're already working in a company, you can talk to your supervisor. Listen, like, you know, I'm trying to get my security plus. Do you mind if I spend an hour a week talking to the security specialist, the cybersecurity specialist, or you know, and if they're like, yeah, if that's fine, you know, just make sure he's okay with it, take it immediately, you know. They're not gonna pay you anything extra, but at least you're like, hey, you know, can you know, pick his brain on how to get into those certain things. And that's another step right there. If you guys are already working for somebody in a certain company that has these different types of levels, ask them, ask your supervisor, hey, listen, I'm trying to do a career change. Do you mind if I go talk to the developers? Do you mind if I go talk to the security specialist? Do you mind if I go talk to the level 4 support techs to see how, you know, to pick their brain a little bit? Uh, Most of the time they'll be like, that's fine, just don't bug them, you know, talk to him during lunch, to ask them if, you know, you can go hang out with them a couple hours out of the week or something. And that's your opportunity to start picking these professionals' brains, because the best thing to do is communicate with the people that have the job that you want to get into. Because, as I've mentioned before, networking, and I mean not networking like actual networking, but networking with people, it's probably your best bet to get any of these jobs. Any of these jobs, that will be your best bet. Leaving a good impression on the people you meet that are in these fields that you want to get into. Why? Because the moment that, let's say, you meet Jerry, and Jerry's already a level 4 support tech and he's making $35 an hour, and you're like, snap, I want to make that money. You call Jerry up, or you send him a message on LinkedIn and be like, hey Jerry, I want to get into that field that you're in. How can I do it? And Jerry's going to be like, you know what? Right now we're hiring level 1 support techs. Send me your resume and I'll talk to, you know, the main person. And next thing you know, you're a level 1 support tech, just because you networked with Jerry about, you know, and you left a good impression on him. You meet Bob. Bob is you know, a senior developer in this company. You know, you talked to Bob somewhere when you were, you know, doing whatever, and you call Bob and you tell, hey, listen, Bob, like, can I pick your brain, man? Like, I want to become a software developer. What can I do to get into the field? And Bob's like, you know what? We have this internship. It's not paid, but, you know, let me talk to the main dude. And, you know, next thing you know, Bob's calling you up. Hey, listen, the main guy said that you can come through for 3 hours out of the week, and he can show you what, you know, what's going on here. And there you go. That goes on your resume. I helped, you know, a senior engineer with this company's, you know, whatever. Same thing, cybersecurity. You know, same thing with anything else that you want to do, because that's networking is the key, guys. You can do this the hard way, or you can do this the extremely hard way. There's no easy way to do this, guys. I mean, yes, I said it. Like, this is the easiest way to probably get into these fields, but that doesn't mean that it's actually physically easy. So you actually have to put in the work. You have to network with the correct people. That's how I got that interview at Google that I completely bombed. I was driving for Uber. I was talking, you know, making conversation with the people there. Next thing you know, I find out that this young lady is an HR representative for Google, and she put in a good word for me with the gentleman that, you know, set up the interview for Google. All because I had a good conversation with her, and I told her that I had certain skills, and she's like, you know what? We have this program that, you know, for people who are not in the field but want to get into the field. I'll send your information to the recruiter. And that's how I got my shot at Google. Obviously, I completely bombed it because their hiring rate is that of, you know, trying to get into heaven, but that's how you do it. Networking is the key, guys. So just remember, if you guys want to get into your fields, aim low to get to get up there. It's kind of like buying a stock. Buy the stock low, that way, and you sell high, right? Same thing. Shoot your shot a little bit lower than what you want. Eventually, you will get to that dream, because it does take work, guys. No, I mean, very rarely does somebody land the job of their dreams on the first shot. I have seen it happen, but very rarely does it happen. You have to work your butt off to get to that point where you're like, yes, this is it. I'm finally here. And now I can be comfortable. Remember, aim for that one entry level position. Network with some people. You know, go out there, talk. Some of you guys, I know you're shy. That's why we have the internet. Talk. You know, communicate with people on the internet. LinkedIn. There's a bunch of Discord channels out there. There's everything is out there, guys. Talk with people, communicate, you know, practice, put it on. And if you're working on something that has to do with networking, put it on your LinkedIn, you know. Oh, today I'm working on this by CCNA, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Everything, any sort of communication that people can physically see will get you one step closer to that job. That's how I landed the support tech, and now, you know, I got a call for another support tech job to level 2 that pays a little bit more than this job that I'm at right now. You know what I mean? So it's just getting started, getting into that level where you're like, I can start moving up now. I'm talking to people, and people are seeing what I'm capable of. So this is my message to you guys. Obviously, this is just from my experience, how I'm getting started, how I'm pushing myself to do these things. It works differently for everybody, but just remember, the one thing that doesn't change is the work that you have to put in. Unless you're one lucky guy or lucky gal that's just their dad is the CEO of whatever company and you can just get in, right? You have to put in the work. Without that work, you're not gonna get anywhere. So this is hopefully some of you guys find this helpful. I really hope so, because from my experience, this is what's working for me. Putting in the work, getting that lower level job, and trying to move my way up. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that these videos are coming out a little bit better. I'm trying to learn how to make these better quality, guys. I got a GoPro. That's what I could afford. So hopefully these videos and the sound is coming off a little bit better. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and please subscribe, guys. Subscribe. I'm trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber by the end of this year. Please do it. You know, that would help me out a lot. Smashing that like button also helps out a lot with the YouTube algorithm. You know, especially as smaller YouTube folks that are trying to, you know, make imprint out there for those people, you know, who are also struggling through going through the same struggles that we're going through. So please remember to subscribe and like, and see you guys on the next one.